Welcome into Caldwell County today. Once again, we are here at the Hub Station, and we are talking to the one, the only Keith Smith, the director of the current production here, and all the ones in the past. Madam Buttermilk. I'm sorry, I had the original title. I had the name wrong.
You got the thing before the adjustment.
I got the thing before the adjustment. Now, it's an interesting show. I've heard you talk to Paige about it, and it's something that's intriguing that I want to see.
Yes, it's a unique show. First of all, it's a comedy, and there are a lot of good comedies, and people love to laugh, but there are also some Southern comedies that are kind of what I call formula, or they follow a certain pattern. This is a very unique show because it's an unusual idea, and once it's out there, and I'll tell you the idea in a minute, it has a lot of substance, and it has very good music in it, and we have good actors playing these parts. But this is a show where Ross Carter, who has been here and will be coming back to see the show, the playwright, was riding down the road with some friends of his, and one of the guys said, "What if somebody did an opera set in Kentucky?" And he said he didn't miss a beat. It just came second nature. He said, "Madam Buttermilk," and they all laughed. He said, "Well, I got the title now. I just have to write the show," which he did and did a great job. But it's the story of an opera singer named Carly Speranza, who has a great voice, has always wanted to sing the role of Carmen in the opera of the same name, but one thing or another has arisen to keep her from fulfilling that bucket list item on her desires. And she gets a call one day. Her roommate and agent, gets a call and finds out that there's a chance for her to go one night only because a singer for Carmen has lost her voice, or has had tonsillectomy, so she's out of commission. And so she hastens off to find out that she's going to be singing with a country band at a state fair. And then the hilarity ensues from there. But throughout the story, there's nice arc, there's development of characters, and the play takes place over a 2-day period, but you think you've been up there for weeks after because it seems like things develop that much through the thing. But during the process, she reunites with an old college sweetheart who, unbeknownst to her, because she doesn't know the country music world, has become a big country star. And she's giving him a hard time about not following up with his opera and how he's a has-been now, and it turns out he has one up on her. But it's nice because the show comes around. The people, and Ross talked about this, he and I talked about it, and I think you mentioned on the air. Yeah. It starts out with an opera singer going into the world of country, and by the end, the country folks are singing opera, and she's singing country. So it's a nice feel-good ending, but not a sappy bubblegum ending. It's a legitimate, viable ending, and everybody ends up happy. And Ross also makes the point that, where else do you go except a theater where you have 100 or 2 or 3 or 400 people in the audience, and people on the stage have the power to make them laugh, to have a physical reaction, all those people. And that's a very good point. It's a good feeling for the actors to hear the laughs. I think laughter is a good medicine. It's good for the audience to experience the laughs.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing like a good fun show to see.
That's right, and this is one with fun. As even a song that says we're going to have fun. So, yeah. Also, the same actress sings "I'm sick," so you got your level. So,
well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to hand the microphone to Keith, and I'm going to let him interview the cast and crew while I go behind the camera, and because he knows more about this show than I do, so I'm going to let him do all the work. But anyway, we'll be back right after this.
Again, we want to tell you that the show that we're promoting is Madam Buttermilk. It's a Southern comedy. It's a musical. It opens on Thursday, March the 23rd. It's a 2-weekend run, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, both weekends, March 23rd, 24th, 25th, 30th, 31st, and April 1st, to conclude on April Fool's Day. But our cast knows they will be playing no April Fool's jokes that night. I have to tell you, one of our actors the other night came up to me and with a very straight face said he had to drop out of the show, and he told me later he's just playing an early April Fool's joke. So after we picked my heart up out of the floor, I admonished him not to do that ever again. But the show runs those 6 nights. It starts at 7:30, but before that, we have dinner catered by Daniel Boone, fried chicken, country ham, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, stewed apples, biscuits, and strawberry shortcake and tea. So we want you to come eat, that's right, and then see the show. And then you can get a corn dog during the show or some popcorn. Actors aren't allowed to eat popcorn. All the rest of you can. But 6:30 is the dinner. 7:30 is the show. Cost for tickets for the dinner and the show are $37. Cost for the show only, balcony seating, is $19 per seat. And you can get tickets in one of three ways. You can come here to the hub where we are, 145 Cedar Valley Road, and go to the box office, and Addie Cardwell, the fine manager here, will take care of you. Or you can call 828-726-8871, or most conveniently, you can go online to either the hub station website or the Town of Hudson website and follow the link to tix.com. That's TIX.com, and get your tickets. They're selling fast, and that's a good thing, but this show is of the caliber we really want to sell it out, and we're trying to do that. So first I have with me one of the cast members. We're here tonight. Eric is kind enough to always come on his own time. Sometimes it's after midnight. No, it's not really, but he comes down and films the cast. We don't have all of our cast with us tonight. We have some, and we're going to meet them, and some of our stage people who are working backstage, which is just as important a function, if not more so, than the actors, because without them, actors can't do their thing. So first, this gentleman is Kevin Parrish. Kevin, I've known his wife, used to go to church with her 40, 50 years ago, but I didn't meet Kevin until, she was young then, by the way. I didn't meet Kevin until more recently, but he used to work with, what'd you say? An infant. She was an infant. Yes. I didn't meet Kevin until he used to help here back behind the scenes selling popcorn and drinks and that sort of thing. And I didn't realize what a talent that he really was. And he's got a beautiful voice, and he's very funny, very naturally funny. The only thing I've ever done is admonish him to just let it shine on stage, because he has all those workings in there, very, very good brain to work. So we got him up on stage for a show, and now he's a regular. I'm very happy for that. That's our gain. He also sings in our Caldwell men's chorus, as several of the guys do. And I'm just very glad he's involved. His character is named Beamer. This show has a car theme, so I'm going to let Kevin tell you a little bit about his character and the car theme and his name and his take on the show for now.
As Keith said, I'm Beamer in the show, Billy Mack Wilson, Beamer for short. It does have a car theme. The names, the songs, everything is a car theme. It's a really fun show. It's got something for everybody, whether you like opera, whether you like country, whatever. You're going to find something you like. A lot of good humor, just a lot of fun. There's even some dancing. I get drug around the stage myself a little bit. And it's all just a great cast, great crew, and great show to do. So I even made that rhyme. Was that good?
You did.
How about that? That was just right out of my head. But we're really looking forward to it, and want everybody to come out, and I know you'll enjoy it.
Kevin was talking about the car theme. I told our singer who's playing the opera role that this was a real vehicle for her. Kevin said, it's a vehicle for all of us. It's about cars. So that was a good take. He's got that good cerebral sense of humor. But come out and see Kevin. You need to hear this man sing opera. Bet you didn't know that he could do that. Now we have with us Miss Catherine Lookadoo, and that is the correct pronunciation, right? No, tell me what it is. Lookadoo. The reason we call her Lookadoo, a lady who did a show with her and me a couple of years ago called her Looky-Doo, so that became her nickname, Looky-Doo, but it's Lookadoo. And she's a rising senior, will be this coming year, in high school. She came on board to do the play Welcome to Mitford, and is a delightful young lady, very quiet but very talented, and will do anything you ask her to do behind the scenes or on stage, has a great attitude. So we're very glad to keep an influx of young people coming into our theater, because if you pan around with a camera, you'll see nobody's a winter chicken, but there aren't many spring chickens back there. This is a spring chicken. So, Catherine, tell us a little bit about how you've enjoyed being involved, if you have enjoyed it, at the Hub, and your take on what's going on here.
Well, I've enjoyed being at the Hub a lot. I really love acting. I've loved it since I was little, so being able to be in the Hub, at the Hub, and act in Welcome to Midford and helping out here has been a really great experience, and being in Madame Buttermilk has been really enjoyable, seeing all the humor and everybody just kind of intermingled backstage, getting things ready for the show too has just been really interesting, and seeing all the dances they're just so fun. Can't wait for everyone to see them.
Very good. And we do have a lot of talent in this show, don't we? That's very good. Okay, so come see Catherine. Catherine has a nice acrobatic move to kick off Act 2, so you need to come see that. She's rewarded, too, in her tip hat. Okay, thank you. Next, we have joining us Miss Paige Turner, who works within the band for the show. Actually, her real name is Marcia Marshall. I knew her as Marcia Ainsley when we were together in school. I think it was 97 or 98 years ago. Not quite that long. We closed down Hudson High School together, I can say that, in 1977. And Marcia's been a good friend and a very faithful helper with lots of my projects, and is a very talented musician in her own right. For this show, she came in and is willing to work as assistant to our fine accompanist, Sherry January, turning pages and being up on stage. But the thing about Marcia and her husband, Robert, whom you will meet later, is that they're willing to help in any way they can, behind the scenes, on the stage, and I really appreciate what they've done. Tell us a little bit about your take on this show and what you've seen so far, what you're thinking.
First of all, speaking of Sherry, she is an excellent keyboardist. We are blessed to have her to play for us, and there are so many other talented individuals involved in this play, and it really is funny. There's there's a lot of humor. There are some sweet moments also. I'll define it as that. And it's just a very good production, and I look forward to being in it, and I'm blessed to be able to be a part of it, and I hope you can all buy tickets and come see us.
Next we have with us Mr. and Mrs. John and Jane Yankoff, who have been probably misidentified by most of us for a couple of years. The Yankoffs are delightful people who moved here from California. How long ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. They came here as a couple. Mike DeNeat and his wife Jingle also moved here from California. And Charlie and Linda Finkel, all from California within about a year of each other. And California's loss is certainly our gain. John said the reason he changed his name from Yankoff to Johnkoff was they were in the witness protection program, but that's not. We want them to be out in the open here in Hudson, not in the protection program. They've come on board. Jane came to meet Jan Karen when we were first auditioning for Welcome to Mitford a couple of years ago, and turned out to get her doing a little bit of help, but they were traveling a lot then and not able to do the show. But since then, they come on board a little bit on stage, but mainly backstage, doing anything that's asked of them, a wonderful attitude, and they've certainly become part of our Hub family. And I'd just like for both of you take your turns to tell us what the experience has been like coming from California to here, and what it's been like coming up to the Hub.
Well, coming from California to here has been nothing but good for both of us. We have never regretted the move, and everyone in North Carolina is so friendly. The atmosphere is very relaxed, welcoming, and ever since my first time talking to Keith on the phone, I was asking about coming up to audition for the show, even though I knew that we weren't going to be around for the weekends of the show. But he just welcomed me up to come and audition, and then he introduced me all around, and it was just like walking into a family of pre-made friends. It was great. And so that's really been the encouragement for us to come up and be involved in all your shows, because it's always such a fun experience. Nice group of people. We've learned so much. We've always enjoyed going to live theater when we were in California, but we've never done anything from the back end and to be involved in the production of plays. So that's been a great experience.
Yeah, really, community theater. This is what it's about. You know, people coming from different towns. Some very close here. Others travel 45 minutes, an hour to get here, and practice hard. And this show is a very funny show. You know, you heard about the singing, the opera, and the country music. There's a lot of car humor, in this show also. So if you're a car buff, you'll get a kick out of this show.
Very good. And so you kept the theme, buffing the car, just like Kevin with the vehicle. That's good. But seriously, it's been nothing but a delight. And really, we've always had a sense of family, but really with these folks moving from California, I think ironically that's when we really started clicking as a group. And we'll meet a lady in a moment who came from this area but has come into our new family. But we welcome you. So glad you're here. And I know the folks will enjoy what you're doing, what you put out there on stage, but this whole experience. Thank you. Next we have with us Miss Ann Wepner. I met Ann when I was directing a church in which she was involved back in the early 1990s. Ann will tell you about her, talk about a large family, and she has this extended community family, but she'll tell you about her 12 kids and 12 grandkids and growing in just a bit. But Ann is a minister. She and her husband are both ministers, and that's very appropriate for her because she ministers to our souls and spirits every night. And she's done a lot of area theater, but she did not come up into the hub until just like last spring, about a year ago, and she's been heavily involved since then. And it seems longer than that because we've crammed so much in, and it's like you can't imagine it not being the case, right, Ann? Ann plays the character of Jan Swaggart. I want to call her Swafford for some reason, Jan Swaggart. But she is Jane, who you just met, and I meant to say, is the stage manager for this production, but Ann is the stage manager character within the show. And we talk about her character being insecure and a star wannabe, and so she throws all the power she can out of that little 5 foot frame. And it's just delightful energy, and she's really gotten her pace and her rhythm, and she's found this character, and she gets better. She's going to peak at just the right time. But I want you to tell us a little bit about your character in the show, and then just your take on coming into the Hub community.
Well, my character is one of those Southern women that I really love to play. So when I saw that part, I really fell in love with that part. I didn't tell Keith. But anyway, I'm just really grateful to be able to have this part. I get to do things on stage that I really haven't done very much. Some types of dancing that I haven't done a lot, ballroom dancing, and my poor partner is having to struggle with me a little bit, but we're getting there. I've sung solos, but not a ton of them, so I'm really having fun with that. And I've always loved country western music, so this thing with combining opera and country western, I really love that. So I get to do something in the show as a character that I might really secretly have loved to do in real life. So anyway, this is very gratifying for me. I do a lot of levels, but it's mainly just a lot of fun and such great people, because that's the one thing that you do, Keith, is you bring people together who are just great people. I don't know how you find all these great people, but anyway, they're here and they're part of this play, and everybody's so encouraging and really wants to make it work and make it better and the best that it can be. And I've had a great enjoyment in meeting the playwright. As I don't know that you've talked about that, but we've had we've had a visit from the playwright, which makes it very personal. I've never done that before. But I've enjoyed every show that I've been involved in here, because this really brings theater to the community. I think everything you pick is something that most people would want to see, and people who might not be ordinary theater goers just are entertained and then hopefully grow into theater goers. So, but great shows, and this is one of the best, I think.
Thank you, Ann. I'll say one thing about live theater. Her character, the stage manager, this show premiered. It was an award-winning show by Mr. Carter, and it premiered at Barter Theater in Virginia. And they honed it, did some rewrites, and brought it back on, and it's played to sold-out audiences. And the second time I saw it up there, the character who plays the stage manager said, "Okay, everybody quiet out there." And this poor guy in the audience, unintentionally, had one of the hugest sneezes I've ever heard in my life. And he was mortified, but the audience was kind of quiet, and the stage manager just used that, "Sir?" And the whole level of the show went from here, which was fine, up to here. And oncoming characters in future scenes played reference to his sneeze. And it just took, that's the beauty of theater. You have a same show, but it's never exactly the same every night. Different companies doing it, even within the same company doing it 6 times. It'll be different all 6 nights. And you'll get laughs at places you don't expect to and not get laughs at places you expect to. Each one's a living entity, each audience. But when something like that happens and you really have that symbiosis between the audience and the people on stage, that's just a magical moment. And you help us bring those magical moments to there's a word I'm looking for, I won't find it, just to being, okay. Fruition, that was my word, fruition. Okay, thank you. We have with us now Miss Brenda Bell. I met Brenda a few years ago. She came and sang in her Home for Christmas group and with Mr. Cogdell's Messiah at Christmas. And I found out, I knew that she and Marcia, who you met earlier, were good friends, but I found out later they're cousins and really are like sisters. And Brenda has been in the periphery of me all these years. She and her husband, Dennis, live in the Bayton area, and I grew up in the Bayton community, and she taught school at Bayton School for a long time. And just, they got involved in theater, I guess, through Welcome to Mitford a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And Dennis and Brenda, just as several people you met and are going to meet who work behind the scenes more than on stage, are invaluable to what we do. We couldn't do it without them. And that's the Yankoffs and everybody. I don't want to single anybody else out because I'll miss somebody. But I think one thing I really like about Brenda, she's always got a pleasant attitude and very talented, but very willing to help. But she's really got a good analytical mind for this, as does Jane. Because the other night, Brenda came out and was watching the show and talking about technical things that were to happen. And she had a list of about 4 things, and she was very polite, just said, I'd like to share this with you. And I went to my notebook, and there were like the 4 same things I had written down. And I said, great minds think alike. But we're so glad to have you, Brenda. Tell us about your take on working with this cast and just being here at the Hub in general and this show.
Well, actually, we can compare because I've watched you over the years and know what the things that you promote and watch for, and so that's broadened my horizon. Working with the cast, well, each play that I've gotten to be involved with, mostly backstage, and then a little piece here or there. Maybe Keith's good at thinking up things to bring us out on stage that we weren't planning on doing. But anyway, it's a joy to do that. But I do enjoy being backstage and make sure everything's going as it should be, and to be sure the actors are comfortable and have what they need to go on out, because I'm not one that's going to learn all those lines. Some of these people, my memory, well, we talked about Catherine being the spring chicken. Well, this is the old hen right here. She has no memory anymore. No memory anymore. But I do enjoy that particular aspect of theater, being able to be part. We still, we have such wonderful people to work with. You still feel as a part of, not as, oh, you're just back there doing nothing. But, we have such good people to work for, appreciative, and it's just a joy to do. And it's an outlet. As retired folk, I guess, we enjoy having this outlet things that we've never gotten to do. I've sung over the years, a lot, but this is just something different. And so I guess we're not getting stale, maybe, with that. So I would say if anyone is interested in helping and you're not sure if you would have a place that you could help, I'm sure Keith would find a spot for you doing something. So it's just great to work with such talented people. Our cast, the range of talent that we have in this production is just unbelievable. The singing voices, the dancing, the comedy. It's really going to be a good play. We've enjoyed just getting to watch, and so we appreciate all you do, Keith, and as our director.
And you made a good point about the spring chicken. I think things like this, laughter and music and gathering with people, keep us young. And it's good therapy, too. And laughter is good therapy, and music's good therapy. And Marcia and Brenda, as well as everybody here, we have many good singers. But Mr. Cogdell, who most of you know, was my high school choral teacher, and Marcia's and Brenda's. He said, they were two of my finest altos I ever had. He always says that. So we're glad you're here with us, Brenda. I have with me now Miss Holly Dagenhart. I first met Holly when she came up to do the play Annie with me in 2017, 16 or 17, one of the, and Leanna Bodner, who has done a lot of choreography for us in the past, and we'll tie that in, introduced me to her, and I just really was very enamored with her and her daughter, both beautiful ladies inside and out, very talented, and she got up and read and did a great job, and she got up and sang, and she did fine, and then she danced, and I said, that's what was your character? Grace. Grace in the show. But it's mesmerizing to watch Holly dance. Since we brought those talents full circle, she has a role in the show, which we'll talk about, but she is choreographing this show. And I want to say ahead of time, I don't think I've seen a cast better adapt to someone. There are always 3 or 4 people who hate to dance, but she's made the dancing fun and an organic, integral part of the show. And it's not like we stop and have these huge dances and resume the show. Good dance is the show's going along telling a story, and the dance continues that and carries it forward instead of stopping to showcase it. So I'm real proud of the way she's done that. So we'll start, Holly, by talking about a little bit about your coming into the choreography of this, and we'll talk about your character.
Okay, great. Yes, so over this past year, I had the opportunity and to co-choreograph 2 different shows, and then glad to have that experience. Actually co-choreographed with Gina Duckworth, which she has been choreographing in sort of the Mooresville area for years and years and years. And anyway, and then Keith, I think, caught wind that I'd been doing that. Plus, he knows how much I love to dance anyway. And he asked if I would come in and be choreographer for this show that I'm in. So yeah, I've been dancing since I was like 3 years old, and I did, some competitive cheer, competitive dance. And then I never really studied dance. I've just done theater and musical theater as an adult, so just kept on dancing like my whole life. And yeah, so I'm very thankful over just this past year. I would never have considered myself a choreographer. Like, I always loved to dance, but I'm kind of excited to be able to add that to my list of things that, my resume at this point. So it's been fun.
And I'm going to let you give it right back to you and let you tell us about your character of Kit. Kit, I'll say that Kit is the agent for Carly Speranza, whom we mentioned, the opera singer. And then she has her own development as a character and has some nice moments with Beamer, who you met earlier. And so tell us about your character in the show.
Sure. Kit McCandless, she is very optimistic and upbeat. She just grabs hold of all these opportunities that Carly potentially can have, and Carly's a little more reserved and very focused on wanting to be an opera singer. But I think Kit just looks at this potential opportunity, I won't give away the show, but that she has, and she just goes in 100%, like just taking it to a whole new level. So yeah, it's a fun relationship that they have. I think Kit's very much like, yes, let's do this, let's have fun, and Carly's like, no, this is not my goal, this is not my dream. And but anyway, it's been a lot of fun working with Allie. She's crazy talented, and then really with the whole cast, and Beamer, played by Kevin, it's been fun. Just kind of interacting with him and just the comedic moments that we have together. It's a really great show. I mean, just the name alone, I was very intrigued. I was like, Madam Buttermilk, like, that's awesome. The more I read the script and really learned about it, and then just the music and the storyline, and then of course, like, Ross being involved too was just a really awesome experience. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's a good balance of character to me between your upbeat character and Kevin's very pleasant but kind of laid-back character. They play off each other so well. And you are all in because one day she's in New York eating petite salads, and the next day she's eating fried lard at the fair, or fried butter at least. And she pays for it, though. Okay. But we're very happy to have Holly here. Come see her and the rest of these fine people. I have now with me my good friend Robert Marshall. We met his wife, Marcia, earlier. Robert, I met Robert through Marcia, and Robert and I have been friends and working together on projects for several years now. He started singing with their Home for Christmas group. He sings in our Caldwell Men's Chorus. He's been in several shows here. Again, willing to do anything, work backstage, be on stage. He has a very fine bass voice, and he does get to sing in this show. So that is great. But Robert, tell us just a little bit in general about our background, but more specifically about your involvement or your take on the show from what you've seen.
It's been my privilege to be associated with Keith in several productions here at the Hub. And when he first mentioned Madam Buttermilk, I thought, I don't know about that, Keith. That sounds, just don't know about that. But the premise of the show, the mixing of opera and country, is kind of intriguing. And then he flattered me by asking me to have a small part. And I'm really grateful for that. The cast is so congenial and talented. It's just a privilege to work with such a group of people. And the show is really good. I mean, there's something, if you don't enjoy something in this show, you're just really hard to please. I mean, it is, it's an intriguing theme. The talent level is great. The dancing, the music, the acting. It's just been a pleasure thus far to be associated with it.
Well, thank you, Robert. I hope you'll keep coming back for at least 6 or 8 or 25 more.
Thank you.
Next I have with me my cousin, Randy McCall. Randy and I grew up in the same community, the same church, but we were a little bit different age, so we didn't hang out a lot together, but then we both went our different directions, always aware of each other, always exchanging pleasantries along the way. But after Randy retired, he wanted to get involved in some of our activities here at the Hub, singing and acting. So you know me, how I gently coax folks to get involved, never pressure them. That's the other always gets a laugh. He got involved, and it's been my privilege to get to work with him. He's my friend and cousin, but I think he's enjoyed it. He can speak to that, but I really enjoyed having him, and he's helped our experience. So.
I appreciate that, Keith. Yeah, Keith was just a smaller little kid when I was in North Catawba growing up, and I was playing ball, and he was playing piano. But when I heard about Madam Buttermilk, I wanted to be a part of it so bad, because when I saw the storyline of it, but when I saw that it didn't really cast older people, I thought, I'm not going for a big part. I'm just going to see if Keith will let me do a little small part and help in the backstage. And he found me a place. I'm playing Booger. A part I've always wanted to play. And so I do get to work with the team backstage, and it's I've really enjoyed this. And like someone said, if you're in the community and want to be a part of something useful, this is the place to be.
Thank you, Randy. And he did some nice roles. In fact, Ross Carter, the playwright who was here this past weekend, and we've met Ross early in a segment that's going to tie in with this. Ross told Randy back at the time, he came to see To Kill a Mockingbird, and Randy was Sheriff Heck Tate in that show. He told Randy, then told him again the other night, that he was very believable and realistic on stage as a sheriff. So that was a very fine compliment for Randy, and well-deserved. You have a nice stage presence. So thank you, Randy. Now we have with us Dennis Bell. He is Brenda's husband. And Dennis I met really through Brenda and Marcia and Robert. And I knew he was a pleasant guy. I used to direct music at a church where his father was minister. And I'm going to have to take just 1 second to tell that story. Yeah. Dennis's father. My friend Jeff Lips, who's now in Florida, Jeff Lips' cousin to Kevin's wife, Libby Lips. Jeff Lips and I went to sing he came with me to sing at my church where I was directing Amherst Baptist in Morganton many years ago. And we were going to sing the song, And He Walks With Me and He Talks With Me. I come to the garden alone, in the garden. And in the Garden of Eden, no, in the other one. So I told Jeff, I said, everybody who sings this song goes, and he walks with me and he talks. Well, so we're not going to do that. We're going to make phrases. We're going to say, and he walks with me and he talks with me. So Jeff and I get up to sing. I was doing the melody, or I can't remember if I did the melody, and he did the harmony or vice versa. But anyway, we're ready to sing, so take out the pitch pipe, we're going to do it a cappella, and I blow 2 or 3 notes at the same time. Well, that set Jeff off. He was easy to get tickled. So we started singing, and we got, I come, he started coughing. He was laughing, but he covered it with coughing. We started 4 times. And Jeff finally, I cannot believe he did this, but I love it now. Back then I didn't care for it. He said, ladies and gentlemen, you need to pray for me. He said, I've had pneumonia. I'm just getting, he wasn't a bit sick. I'm just getting over it. I'm just going to have to sit down and let Brother Keith proceed along. And I just thought, I'm going to get you. And he sat down with this little grin in the front row looking at me. So his dad, Arnold, who had a fine voice, said, always just like Dennis, you're going to find out, very helpful. He came over and said, Keith, I'll help you if you'll do the tenor, I'll sing the melody. I said, sure. And so we started. It's going along just fine. We get to the chorus, and his dad goes, and he walks with, and I had to think of dead grandmothers and anything I could think of to keep from laughing. I got through it somehow. And after the show, after the service, people came up to Jeff, we're praying for you, brother. And I said, you better be praying for him, because when we get to the car, he's going to need prayer. So, but I say that Arnold was such a fine man, and that's exemplified in his son. After I did meet Dennis, I learned he's very quiet and demure, but he's a jack of all trades. He's an electrician. He can do woodwork. Anything he does well. He fixed a lamp for me at Christmas. Nobody else could, just like that. A great guy. And he's also he has a fine voice, and he now sings in our Caldwell Men's Chorus. But just like his wife and others we talked with, he's willing to do anything to help backstage, be on stage, whatever I need him to do. So it's a delight. But tell us a little bit in general about your experience here at the Hub and for this show particularly, Dennis.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Keith. Since I had retired a couple years ago, before I was never able to do anything like this, and Keith, we got involved with some of the other productions. And as far as acting goes, I don't do much of that. I'm trying not to if I can. But I really like working behind the stage and, with sets and things and helping people out. And it's really been a good experience. And but this show is just wonderful. We have some of the best actors and singers that I have ever been around. They're absolutely wonderful. And if you have a chance to come, you need to get tickets and come to this show, because you are missing out if you aren't here and see this wonderful production. And Keith is a great director too, and we love Keith, and we really appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Appreciate what you do, Dennis. Thank you. Yeah, it was a good sales pitch, but he's serious. You need to come see this show. Thanks. I have with me now a friend who is perpetually 2 days younger than me. I keep trying to shake it and have him catch up with me, but every time he ages a day, I age a day. I was born, we won't say what year, 1959. I was born. Yeah, that was a joke. Yeah. You'll find Ken's a literalist in a moment, but I was born on May the 19th, and he was born on May 21st of the same year, so we are kind of twins in a way. I first met Ken, I guess, doing a show, or was it when we went to Cross North? The Fantastics was the first time.
Might have been the Cross North thing.
Yeah, but they're kind of at the same time. But he came to sing with me for some various projects, has a wonderful voice, and is a fine actor, and has done a lot of lead roles in this area. And as I said, Ken's a literalist. He has a mathematical mind, and I'm off on the crazy side, so we find a way to weed together. But I've been very appreciative of his talent over the years.
Crazy.
Mathematically crazy. What are the odds? What are the chances? But 75%, 76 when it's raining. Ken is one of those people that if you say, will it be on Friday or Saturday? Yes. It will be on one. He won't give you the day. He's answering the question literally. But I love him for that. Now, I'd like for him to tell us about his involvement in this show, because he has a nice range of both movement and song, and I think it showcases a lot of your talents, Ken. So tell us about being involved with this cast and this group.
Well, what I don't have is the ability to be a believable country accent. I can pretend, but it doesn't really come across real. So the part I've got is actually quite fun. But I get a chance. I get a chance to sing. I love it. I so appreciate Holly because she's helping me look like I almost am a competent dancer, and that's fun. I thoroughly enjoy working with everybody. It's so many of the songs are so fun to listen to, and we do. I mean, all of us do a good job singing them. Some of the stuff is pretty challenging, and when I flub my words, which seems to happen. Hopefully, it won't happen on the night of the show, but it's sure happening now. Anyway, it's just a lot. The show is a lot of fun. Anne is she's doing good with the dancing, and when I jerk her around on the stage, she has a good attitude with it, which is wonderful. I don't know, what else am I supposed to say?
Just tell us about your general experience at the Hub over the years.
Oh, yeah. Well, my first show here at the Hub was the Fantastics, and actually one of the actors that is in this show was in that show, Tommy. And he and I actually first met there. Then this is only the second show we've ever done together, but I've had a chance. I enjoy working with Keith. It's he puts together a good show every time. He manages to find the talents that people have and accents them, and he sometimes has crazy ideas that fortunately sometimes don't ever actually come to fruition, which is good.
And sometimes they do.
And sometimes they do, which still turns out to be good.
Well, that's no idea.
Yeah. I don't want to start listing the shows that I've done. That's silly.
You can pick out one or two you want to mention. You can.
Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed King and I. That was a fun show to do. This is the first show in a while I haven't died. The character died, yeah. That seems to be a running thing. I die a lot. But this one I don't die.
You're no spring chicken.
Yes.
Twing chicken.
Yeah, there you go. I either die or I kill somebody important, one or the other. Yeah, Cotton Patch was really good.
Yeah, Cotton Patch was a lot of fun. I just will say I play, knowing it gets under his skin with his name, Twing, T-H-W-I-N-G. So we mentioned doing the King and I, and he did a fine job, played the King in that show. And so I said the new name for the show is the Twing and I. And we had a little peripheral involvement with Sound of Music, and I said these are a few of my favorite twings, so you got to have a little fun with all that. He mentioned about people being able to do their parts so well, and the lady who you won't meet tonight, but you need to come see her, Allie McNeely, was talking about Ross's involvement. Ross told me, and I don't know if I've told the cast this, they might be hearing it for the first time, but Ross told me that after the first night here. He said, you know, this show's been done professionally and in community theater a few times. It's the first time ever in North Carolina. But yes, but he said she is the only soprano who's ever been able to realize that cadence in the opera the way I envision it. I mean, it's glorious and it's there. And you need to come see this young lady sing and see Ken dance and kill people and see Ann try to follow him and see Marcia turn pages and see Jane and John moving things, and Brenda and Dennis and Kevin. You got to hear Kevin's opera voice. Yeah, it kills. Yeah, they're very good. And if I left anybody out, they're all great. They're all great. Yeah. So we're going to close now with a lady named. See, they never think I know where I'm going. They tell me we're going to close now with an interview with a lady, saving the best for last, Miss Tracy Love, Reverend Tracy Love. So come on up, Tracy. Thank you. Now we're with Tracy Love, Reverend Tracy Love, but we think of her as a great compliment as Tracy, a person, and not Tracy, a high exalted minister, even though she can handle all that realm and range. She and her husband, Adam, are both Methodist ministers who came to this area. How long ago now, Tracy?
2019.
Yeah, 4 years ago, just pre-COVID, and COVID kind of shut down a lot of their ministry and activities, but it's redeveloped. But I got to meet Tracy through, or meet her better, get to know her better through Cotton Patch Gospel, which was her favorite show, I think she said at that time. So she had a chance to do it again, and was just delightful in it. But she's just got a beautiful voice, but also has such a warm spirit. And I'd like for her just to speak to her involvement in general here in the family, but also the shows and the tones they take, and about meeting everybody.
Well, I have the great opportunity to be a singer in the Carmen Band and have lots of fun singing the tenor line with 3 other really wonderful singers. And I've just really enjoyed being a part of the show, being with the people, making new friends, and being on the stage. There are not many places where, being a United Methodist pastor, I move a lot. And so when somebody asks me, what is home for you, one of those answers is the stage. It always has been for me. So I'm just very, very grateful for the opportunity to be able to perform any chance I can do that. But what means even more to me is just being a part of something with great people and being able to make friendships and share in community and be together. I think that's the best part of it. And this show is a lot of fun. There's so many wonderful songs, so much laughter that's in this show. And when I'm here, I think of nothing else. And it's just a great escape for me. And I really hope people will come and really enjoy the 2 hours or however long it takes, and to go to the state fair and to enjoy these people and these characters and to just soak in this awesome talent.
And it's saying a lot that someone like you with a very strong spirituality comes here to get spiritual therapy on our stage. Yeah, so we don't even charge for that. You just pay for the chicken and the singing, but therapy's free. So I'll just recap what we're doing, what we're talking about. It's a delightful, original, clever musical comedy called Madam Buttermilk, written by Mr. Ross Carter. It's an award-winning show, premiered at Barter Theater back before pre-COVID, and has started coming back around again, but again, the first time in North Carolina. We perform this Thursday through Saturday, March 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 30th, 31st, and April 1st. Shows at 7:30, preceded by a fine meal by Daniel Boone, or it should be Daniel Boone is how it's actually written out. And you come at 6:30 for the meal, 7:30 for the show, and you get your tickets in one of 3 ways. And they're $37 for the meal and the play, $19 for the play only. You can come here to the Hub box office, 145 Cedar Valley Road, or you can call the box office, 828-726-8871, or most conveniently or easily, go online to the Town of Hudson website or the Hub Station website. Follow the link to tix.com, Tix.com. And we say this about every show, but I really mean it, but I especially mean it for this show. Live theater is special, but this is a show that you don't want to miss, and these actors deserve that we need to turn people away every night. It's that much of a good evening. If you don't have a good time and you come see it, come up to me personally, and I will personally give you your money back. I'll say that again, if you do not enjoy the show. So now 47 hucksters are out there planning, robbing the bank of me. But please come see us. These people are delightful people in general, but once you see them get up on the stage, it's like, wow, it's the bomb. So come out. Thank you.
Come see Madam Butterfly.
No, it's Buttermilk.
No, it's Butterfly.
It's Buttermilk.
Tastes great, less filling, but you will be filled up with Daniel Boone, and you'll enjoy yourself. Come.